Hey guys, NunoTheDude. So I know no one is gonna watch this video because it's negative, and again, if you say something negative like, oh, I don't like the sky being blue, then someone is gonna get very angry at you just for not liking the sky being blue or whatever. So the same thing applies for video games. You're gonna have an emotional response to it, and as a result, they're not gonna engage with your points, which is kind of sad because like I really want to have a conversation with the fans and like really see what people like about them, because honestly I came into them expecting to see some like masterpiece of games, especially with the second one, and honestly I just don't see it. Maybe it's not for me, but I just don't see it, and it's not because of the difficulty, because I know someone is gonna be like, oh, it's too difficult for you, blah blah blah. No, it's not. Okay, that's not my main argument, and hopefully by me making this video people are gonna like understand why I feel the way I do. So one of the first arguments that I have is the fact that like a lot of the missions are just kind of like reused content. Like I really hate games that do this, because first of all I really don't like the fact that this is like a mission based structure. I kind of hoped it was kind of like Dark Souls 1 or 2 or whatever, where it was like an interconnected world with a hub area, but instead we have this portable ass type of game design where it's just like you choose missions from a menu, and for me that is very disappointing. Maybe I was just expecting something different from these games, but I really wanted it to be like Dark Souls 1 or something, where it was like interconnected areas, not open world, because open world games are not good, but open area, something like that. But instead we have mission based level, which I guess is subjective, but the thing that like they really do really badly, I would say, would be the fact that they just reuse so much fucking content. It's like, oh, did you enjoy playing the main mission, where it was like an okay area? Oh, guess what? You're gonna play through the same fucking area 2 times. And okay, some areas are new, and that's, I really like that. I like the fact that we have new areas, but most of them are just the same fucking areas 2-3 times. Look at this. You go through this area like 3 times. Through this area 2 fucking times. And let me go and like go for the first one, because I think the first one also had like this bullshit. Look, 3 times. 2 times on a fucking sub goddamn level, 2 times here as well. It's like, why do developers do this shit, man? Why do video games just have to be like 100, 200 fucking hours or whatever the fuck arbitrary number like people have nowadays? It's like, this just dilutes the experience. It's like, oh, maybe I enjoyed this level, but the fact that I'm just like playing through it again and again and again with barely any changes. Okay, don't come at me with the time of day being different being a meaningful change, because it really isn't. Okay, it really fucking isn't. Like, look, same fucking levels again and again and again. Why? Like, if it was just like the main mission and then like a new area like we have in some of these, then I would have been completely fine with it. But the fact that like this game just like reuses the same levels again and again and again with literally the same fucking enemies you've already fought before, essentially means that this is just like slop. This is filler. Like, I don't like filler in anime, and I don't like filler in my video games. Right, so another issue I have with this game is the fact that the looting system is just not very good. Most of the game you're going to be finding these types of weapons, you know, like maybe some news, maybe some like old, whatever. My point is, when you're playing the game, you're essentially going to find the same type of weapon, but with slightly better stats. This essentially means that the exploration and the looting system is kind of like diluted by this level of mediocrity and quantity over quality that this game exemplifies, because if you already know that you're going to be getting a weapon that is slightly better than what you already have, then it's kind of like pointless. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Dark Souls, like for example, where you actually find unique and interesting gear that actually makes you excited to explore and look at the world. Because in Dark Souls, even though you have its own issues, right, like the build variety, shut the fuck up, like the build variety and whatnot, even though you still had that kind of issue, it was much better because each piece of equipment had lore attached to it and actually had meaning to it, right? Because it wasn't just like some copy-paste sword or like some copy-paste armor that barely has any different like functionality. And that's what bothers me about the looting system on this game. It's like so redundant and like so quantity over quality. Like, exploring and getting new stuff should be exciting. And the fact that like I'm playing a game where I'm just getting so much garbage that just is like not very interesting, essentially means that the loading system is like very bad. I do have a similar issue with the items. I don't I do think like the items like also have the same problem where they're like not as useful or as interesting as Dark Souls 1, because as I said, Dark Souls 1, or sorry, the Dark Souls series is quality over quantity, and Nioh is the perfect example of quantity over quality, and as a result, as I said, it dilutes the looting experience, it makes exploration worse because you already know what to expect, unlike Dark Souls, and essentially means that those aspects of the game are just neutered, and they are very, very inferior, which means that it's not as fun as, say it with me, Dark Souls. So for me, the looting system and the like the items, just big disappointment. You know, I was hoping that with Nioh 2, they would kind of like fix these little issues that I had with it, but unfortunately they didn't. Like they literally did not fix any of these issues, and in fact the game is literally the same as the first one.
That's a fine.
Right, another point that I have is the fact that the story just isn't very good. Again, with the first game, I was honestly pleasantly surprised. The game had a good presentation, the game showed a lot of potential and a lot of promise. But unfortunately, as I said, they didn't fix any of the issues I had with it, and in fact, they doubled down on them, and the game, Nioh 2, is literally the same as the first one. Like, changing my mind. Like, they just changed a few mechanics, they even reused the same enemies. And another bad issue with the second one is the fact that the story just isn't very good. Like, Tokihiro or Mumio or like whatever like any of these characters are, they're just like pointless, boring, vapid, bland characters. Like this guy doesn't like you get to meet him for like 2 cutscenes apparently, and then he dies. Like there's no reason to care for them. Like I don't even remember who that girl is. This guy's like one of the bosses, I think. Like my whole point is like these characters are just vapid. These characters are just like nothing. They're boring, uninteresting, and unintelligent. Like there's nothing going on with them. They're just like there. And people use the argument of, oh, it's a video game. It's supposed to be just for games. You know, it's just gameplay. Like obviously the story is going to be bad if the gameplay is good. And for me, I don't understand that argument, because why is it that like when you have a good story you have to like have bad gameplay, and when you have like good gameplay you have to have a bad story? Like, don't you people understand, like, this is not, like, mutually exclusive? Like, we can have 2 things. We can have a good story and a good gameplay. Like, I don't understand, like, why so many games and so many gamers, like, accept this fucking mediocrity. Like, just hire some, like, writers or something. Like, I can do better than this. Like, these characters are just so know-nothing. I don't get it. Like, why even have a story if it's this fucking bland and forgettable? Like, I don't understand, like, what's the point? Like, why? Like, I don't get it. And I know it's, like, maybe subjective, like, maybe you like the story, but what do you like about it? It's so mediocre, dude. Like, I don't get it. You know, and again, like, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. We can have both cakes and eat them. We can have a good story, good characters, a good plot, and a good gameplay. We can have both. Like, why does it have to be exclusive? I don't get it. You know, it's such a bad argument. And like, if you want a good example of like a simple story but it's good, with amazing characters and even better gameplay, look at Devil May Cry 3. I think Devil May Cry 3 has a pretty simple story, you know, just stop the bad guy, but when it comes to the presentation, the cinematography, the OST, and the way they use it for the cutscenes, and the overall vibe in the presentation is phenomenal. The story is pretty simple, you know, just stop the bad guy, but the characters themselves and some of the arcs they have there are amazing. So again, that game has a good story, like objectively, and the gameplay is also amazing. But with Devil May Cry 5, for some reason, the story is bad, the characters are actually decent I guess, but the story is very, very bad, and the only thing that actually saves that game will be the gameplay, so I don't understand. What's the point? And with all of that being said, you know, the mediocre exploration, the mediocre like levels, like a lot of the levels are actually like very boring and very like samey looking. They just have this like destroyed feudal Japan look to them, which I guess is the point, it's the story, but you can make a good like story with interesting locations and whatnot, and for some reason this game also felt short on that. For some reason, like even the first one, like even the first Nioh had like better levels, like visually speaking they were more interesting. At least that's from what I've played so far. Again, I'm only like in the second area for this game, but my point is, from what I've seen, like it's so bad, man. Mediocre story, bad looting system, mediocre items. It's just why? Like awful story. Like it's just Why, dude? I don't get it. It just, it's bizarre because like playing the first one, I was really expecting them to like do something, but unfortunately they didn't. You know, they just made Nioh 1, but slightly worse. I don't understand. You know, which is kind of a shame because the game itself has a lot of things to enjoy. I think the graphics are fine. Like for example, the character creation is absolutely amazing. Like I really love the character creation. You can like really make some amazing characters. I think like the gameplay, like dude, the fucking gameplay is so good, man. Like the gameplay is like the only thing keeping me playing the game because look at the amount of like customization you have for your character, the amount of build variety, like the amount of moveset you have. Like this gameplay system and the enemies themselves are just art. They are fucking art, dude. Like it's so fucking good. So how much of a shame is it that like they just fumbled so bad? Because what's the point of like having such an amazing combat system in a Souls-like game where the exploration is just so bad with a bad story and like bad levels? Like what's the point? Like why have such an amazing combat system if you're just gonna do this? Mediocre everything else. I don't understand. Like legitimately, like I came into this game hoping that it would be like, oh, underrated fucking gem, I'm gonna play this game for like 200 hours and then fucking die of starvation because I forgot to eat because of how good it is. But no, just no. In fact, I want to eat more because I want to stay away from this game. I want to forget its existence, right? So I don't know, just what a shame. Because if that's the case, right, like if you want to make a Souls-like game, and keep in mind, Souls-like games are supposed to like have amazing exploration, lore, and characters, right? Like look at the countless amazing characters you have in Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1, like whatever, man. Like they left such an impression on me, and the exploration and the build variety on these games is also really good. Even though the gameplay is also simpler than Nioh, which I do admit the gameplay is much better than Nioh than in those games. But if everything else is just so mediocre in Nioh, then it's just a waste of time. And all I can say is like there's a reason why these games are not very popular. There's a reason why these games are just so mediocre and like such wasted potential. Like there's a reason for that, guys. Like why do we accept mediocrity? Why are we like letting these amazing systems die in mediocrity? Like I don't get it. I'm truly at a loss for words for the amount of complacency and ignorance that these fucking NPCs display. Because me criticizing this game means that I'm getting like 50 million like dislikes or whatever. But oh wait, I keep forgetting like no one is gonna watch it, so who cares? But if they did, they would be very angry and they would not engage with my points. And I just don't understand why it is. Because as I said, amazing gameplay system ruined by everything else. Like at this point, Ninja Team, I don't know who the fucking developers are, Koei Tecmo, I don't give a shit. Like at this point, you should have just made a hack and slash game. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Like if you are very incompetent, just do what Devil May Cry 5 did. Boring, linear levels, and overall a very mediocre product that is only saved by the masterpiece combat. A masterpiece combat that elevates the game from a 2 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10, right? Like, just do hack and slash. Because as it stands, this game is woefully and regrettably mediocre, okay? Like, and it bothers me because I can see the potential. Again, gameplay, design of the enemies are just beautiful, and how they interact with you is also very beautiful. So, I don't know. Okay, so for my last point, I do admit, it's kind of like surprising hearing myself talk about difficulty, because for me, I hate games that are for normies, I hate games that actually handhold you, and, you know, I've played a lot of difficult games. You know, I played Kingdom Hearts 2 in critical mode, I played the Organization Data boss battles, I fought the special bosses like Sephiroth and Lingering Will, and for me that was really fun. Not once in these games was like me raging and me being like very angry because I just couldn't enjoy the difficulty, you know? Not couldn't beat them, because I can, but I couldn't enjoy it. Like, for me, it just wasn't fun. It's like a cheese grater, you know? Like, imagine, like, putting your fucking, like, rubbing your fingers or your hand on a cheese grater. Like, that's not fun. And that's just how it felt playing Nioh 2. or more specifically like putting your dick in a blender. Like that's not fun, maybe for some people, but for me, I don't know, I enjoy peeing, I enjoy fucking gooning, okay? I really enjoy doing that, but for some reason, Nioh 2 just has the worst, like, artificial difficulty I've ever seen in a video game. You know, the first one was fine. I actually really enjoyed the difficulty in the first one. I think it was mostly fair, but the second one just, man, it just throws so much bullshit at you. Like, the enemies are very aggressive, which, true, but if you're gonna like throw 5 at me to the point where I can't even attack, then I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna have an issue with that, right? And the fact that like the yokai actually have a different mechanic, like if you play the first one and the second one, you know what I'm talking about, like they actually have a different like break mechanic, so it's like harder to actually do a finisher on them, and as a result like staggering them and like going in for the kill. And because of this change, it makes like every single yokai enemy, so like most of them, essentially mini bosses. And the fact that like you fight 2 of them or 3 at the same time, and like some smaller enemies, which in other games they would be very like manageable, you would kill them in like 2-3 hits, but in this game for some reason they like take forever, and they're very fast, and they also do a lot of damage, which essentially means that you're fighting a game that just isn't very fun, because you can't go all out. You know, like, even if you play optimally, you're just gonna be playing in a way that just isn't fun. And I guess that's subjective, but if the developers are, like, blinding me, they're, like, breaking my fucking balls, like, breaking my fingers, again, blindfolding me, they're stabbing me in the back while I'm playing the game, like, yeah, maybe that's difficulty. You know, maybe that's difficulty, but that's not a good kind, okay? It's like the difference between cock and ball torture and then, like, getting shot in the fucking head. Okay, like, for me, that is the biggest difference between Nioh 2 and Nioh 1. And again, it's very difficult for me to explain how bad it is, because I enjoy difficult games in the past, but the way Nioh 2 does it, it's just not very good. So combine the yokai being mini bosses and you fighting them at the same time, and like them having like very aggressive, very annoying movesets, and the fact that like this game just loves spamming you with snipers and enemies who are just like out in the distance, like throwing bullshit at you, like bombs and arrows. It essentially means that it's a tough proposition. It's very tough to enjoy. Like, maybe if I get shot in the head enough times, I'm gonna start to enjoy it, but I don't want to. I really don't want that. And for me, this game just like has way too much of that. You know what I'm saying? And like another mechanic, like the developer story was fun for some reason, is you like being stuck in place for like 5 fucking seconds or 10 because of the paralysis effects, and you essentially like losing 50% or however the fuck it is of your like total stamina regeneration, which means that combine the shitty enemy placements of the snipers, the annoying ass, very aggressive, barely any room to breathe enemies, and you get to the point where they even add less stamina regeneration when you enter the yokai mist, and it's just why? Like, as I said, it's just like, guys, at this point, just might as well kill me in one shot, no matter what I do, you know, just like, again. My point is, it's artificial difficulty, and if you're just like gonna add so many fucking stops to make the play experience as bumpy as possible, and not in a good way, then you reach to the point where the gameplay just isn't fun. And combine all of what I've said with the mediocre looting system, the mediocre items, the bad, boring, uninspired levels, which are just visually samey, and again, there's no there's no incentive of exploration, and the story is mediocre. The OST is just fine, I guess, and you have a game that has a lot of potential in its gameplay systems, but unfortunately, the game just uses none of that. Like, the game does have an amazing gameplay system, but it just, as I said, it just doesn't utilize any of it, and as a result, you have a very mediocre and flawed game that's not even saved by its amazing combat system. So for me, I think this game is very disappointed. I prefer the first one. I think the first one is a better game, and I was hoping that the potential I saw in Nioh 1 would be realized in Nioh 2. But unfortunately, they didn't do any of that, and I'm left with a game that's just not fun. I'm not having fun with it, I don't know. And it's not because of the difficulty, it's like only one of the issues I have with it, you know? Because like I just know someone is gonna say like, oh, you're coping, oh, the difficulty too difficult. No, that's not my main issue with it. Only one of them. So yeah, no one is gonna watch this video. I spent like 2 hours making it for no reason. So yeah, leave a dislike and suck my dick, I guess.